This is the biggest reason people are leaving Florida. So if you're considering moving to Tampa Bay, you'll want to watch this video so that you can plan and prepare yourself ahead of time. By the way, my name is Shay Green. I'm with Impact Realty Tampa Bay. If you have any questions about Tampa Bay real estate or you're considering buying or selling here, please reach out. Go ahead and send me an email or give me a call. I moved to Tampa Bay several years ago and I've noticed quite a few downsides since moving here, and I wanted to make a video series going into all of the bad things I have experienced since coming to Florida. I'm not holding back, I'm not sugarcoating anything. So this video is part 5 in the 6-part series, and in this series I talk about hurricanes, flooding, crime, traffic, high humidity, bugs, gators. But this video specifically, I'm talking about the #1 reason that people are actually moving out of Florida, and that is the high cost of living. So there's been a lot of talk in recent years about how expensive Tampa Bay has gotten. And honestly, I think that's all relative. Most of the people that think that Tampa Bay is so extremely overpriced are people that have either grown up here or lived here for a while, so they remember what it was like when it was super cheap here. But I've been here for almost 4 years now, and I haven't seen a dramatic increase in prices of things besides just the appreciation of home prices that you see in most parts of the country. And in fact, coming from my hometown of Salt Lake City, Utah, I actually think Tampa Bay real estate is a little bit cheaper than it is back home. So to me, as someone who loves the warm weather and loves the beaches, I think the pros of living in Tampa very much outweigh the cons of it being or becoming more expensive here. But in this video, I want to dive a little bit more into the specifics so that you can better prepare yourself before moving here. So there's a website that I'll link in the description that is actually a calculator that compares the cost of living in Tampa to the cost of living in your current home state and city. So you can kind of compare and see if things are going to be more expensive when you move here. So I want to quickly show you what this cost of living calculator comparison tool looks like. So you'll go in here and input your current city. For example, I chose Chicago, and then you'll input Tampa as the new city and then put your household income. And then it's going to show you approximate amount of money you will need to make in Tampa to maintain your current standard of living, which is interesting. And then it breaks down the cost of living and in Tampa and how that compares to wherever you're currently living. So you can see that it's 16% lower in Tampa, and then there's a breakdown between housing, whether that's rent or purchasing a home, transportation costs, and it goes down, food costs, even the difference in a McDonald's quarter pounder price between these two cities, which is pretty funny. But this can just give you a quick, rough estimate of cost of living in Tampa. It is so relative though, depending on your standard of living, depending on where you choose to live in the Tampa Bay area, and yeah, just depending on how you choose to spend your money. So let's do another city. Let's see, that's going to be less. So say you currently make $75,000 in Indy, and the cost of living in Tampa is a little bit higher. So it's going to say to maintain your same standard of living approximately, then you would need to make $78K here in Tampa. So yeah, super interesting tool to just quickly get some estimates on how much things are going to cost here. Now, I will say I actually don't really like talking about cost of living a lot because I feel like it's so relative. Like where I live, for instance, in Tampa Bay, if we took my same house and moved it to another part of Tampa Bay, like say in St. Petersburg, the house could cost twice as much. Or if we moved the house to Davis Islands, it could cost 3 times as much or 4 times as much. So cost of living varies so wildly. So if you're coming here and you want to live in the nicest house in, the most desirable part of town, it is going to be more expensive. But if you're willing to live in more affordable areas that are still great, still have great amenities, still are close to beaches or, whatever draws you to Tampa Bay, you can find really nice, affordable places that will make more sense for your budget. So the actual cost of housing, whether that's buying a home or rent, is so relative depending on where you choose to live within Tampa Bay. You also might have seen news headlines talking about the rising costs of insurance, property tax, or HOAs in Florida, and so that might concern you with moving to Tampa Bay. So me personally, the thing that I'm most annoyed about is the cost of property taxes here. So I came from Utah, which is actually one of the lowest property tax states in the country. So property taxes here seem really steep compared to what I'm used to. Now, if you come from New York, for instance, or Illinois or Texas, you're going to think that property taxes in Florida are cheaper. So just depends on what you're used to. Typically with property taxes, you'll be paying about 1.3% of the home's value each year in taxes, but that is just a rough estimate based on what we've seen as we're, helping people buy and sell homes here. But depending on where you live, your specific county and municipality, those taxes can definitely vary. But there's also homestead exemptions, which can help decrease your property tax bill. So if you qualify for that, you'll want to be sure to take full advantage of that exemption. And if you have any more questions about homestead exemptions, I would be happy to help answer those. So keep in mind, we don't have a state income tax here, so you'll definitely save money on that side, even though you might end up paying a little bit more in property taxes than you do currently. Another rising cost that has been in the news a ton is insurance. And I have to say, personally, I have not seen these crazy skyrocketing insurance rates. I think a lot of these instances happened in areas that were heavily impacted by hurricanes, and Tampa Bay, fortunately, was not. But typically, the insurance rates here for homeowners insurance, it's about 0.5% of the value of the home. But if you buy a home in an area with mandatory flood insurance, then those insurance rates can go up substantially. So you'll definitely want to do your research ahead of time to make sure you know what your insurance costs are going to be before you purchase your home. Also, HOA fees have been increasing. I haven't really seen any skyrocket like crazy, but just due to some of the recent issues with condos, specifically the Miami waterfront condo collapse, I think HOA fees across the board, and especially in larger condo buildings that are on the water, those HOA fees have gone up, and there is potential that they could continue to rise or issue additional assessments. So I always say, if you're super concerned about the cost of HOA fees, choose to live somewhere that either doesn't have an HOA or already has a low-cost minimal HOA. And if you have any more questions about Tampa Bay real estate, please reach out. You can shoot me an email or a text. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.